What's up, guys? Before we dive into our conversation with Hailey Rae Ostrom, today's episode is brought to you by Neuro gum, functional gum and mints. When I say I've tried a product and it changed my life, I'm actually not kidding. I am a guy that is very much caffeine dependent. Before discovering Neuro, I would wake up, go get a Celsius, take a shower, come in the podcast room, work for about 4 to 5 hours. I would drink another energy drink before walking Coco, my dog, or I'm going to work out and I'm taking pre-workout. I'm on the way to the gym and I'm having these jitters in my head. I know a lot of us can relate. Neuro gum, the biggest game changer for them, natural caffeine, infused with B vitamins, and has L-theanine. If you want to just stay energized and focused without the anxiety, without the crashes, without the jitters, Neuro gum is for you. It's long-lasting flavor and it's portable. It's completely hands-free energy and extremely convenient to take anywhere and everywhere you go, on your way to work, throw it in your purse, your backpack, share with your friends. And if you want to try all 3 versions of Neuro and not just the energy and focus, they have sleep and recharge to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling recharged. Not to mention that it's mixed berry flavor that is super tasty. They've also got calm and clarity mints developed with GABA, vitamin D3, and L-theanine to optimize composure and clarity of mind, with honey and lemon flavor. So again, guys, the flavors are super bomb. That's all 3 versions. So you've got the energy and focus, which is peppermint and cinnamon. You got the sleep and recharge, which is mixed berry, and the calm and clarity, honey and lemon flavor. So do yourself a favor and click the link in the episode description. Use our promo code Andy for 10% off. That's ANDY for 10% off. Refresh your body and mind. We thank Neuro Gum for sponsoring the podcast today. Now let's get into the pod.
I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. But I wasn't the person who chose to turn pro. I was forced to turn pro.
How does a guy get married? I'm still just trying to get a text back, sister.
I do have a restraining order on one guy, and like I'm telling you, I stay ready. I stay ready for a reason.
UFC superstar Jorge Game Bread Masvidal, dude. What's going on, baby?
What's up, everybody?
Alrighty, what up, everybody? Welcome into Man to Man Podcast. Today we're switching things up and talking man to woman. Please welcome on the show singer-songwriter, social media star Lauren Gray. We know you like the DJ.
I am okay.
$1.99 for a banana bag, bro.
Brother, I'm sleeping like 10 hours a day. Like
That's
at night.
too much, bro.
That's too much?
6 to 8 is all you really need, bro.
I'm like, no, I think I'm a solid, like, you know what I'm doing wrong though? I'm waking up and then I'm hitting the snooze button on my alarm, go back to bed for like an hour. That's like the worst thing you can do to start your day, right? Because your brain is like, oh, I'm going to try to go back into REM sleep. And it's only for another hour or so, and you're waking up, and it's kind of, you feel all drowsy. Have you heard that? It's like, nah, it's like the worst thing you can do.
I haven't heard that, but
You haven't heard that?
I haven't looked into it either.
Yeah. Do you believe that, though?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Waking
Well,
up.
that's what
and
I'm doing. I'm hitting my alarms at 9 o'clock, then 9:30, and I'm like, all right, maybe I got to get up. But I always hit that snooze. I'm going back to checking phone immediately. I'm checking numbers. Because you know I just went viral, bro.
I know you had a.
What do you think about that, bro?
It was a good video, too.
I caught the Virginia algorithm.
I mean, you had them, JMU even posted you, too?
JMU did not make it. I turned all 68 teams into horses before March Madness started. The winner was going to be my pick in James Madison. Remember, it was Creighton at the very end, and James Madison just took the lead at the very end right there. So my pick was James Madison. I didn't actually bet on it. There's no way I was going to bet on that, right? Plus 25, though. No way I was going to bet on that.
You throw $100 on it, you win $250. That's not bad. You know,
Not bad. Reaction video was pretty funny too. I added that song in the background. Was it what was that song? It's in that sad dog commercial.
I don't know what it is.
Fallen Angels or something.
In the arms of an angel.
In the arms of an angel.
That's
and it's like, and Duke goes to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive year in a row. And they win by 45 points.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
What are you thinking about March Madness right now? Is there any madness at all to it? Maybe besides like Oakland upsetting Kentucky. I don't know. All number 1 teams are still in it.
We don't have a true upset.
This is going to come out in, first week of April. Let's just go ahead and guess who you got winning it. I got Arizona.
I got UConn.
UConn?
Yeah.
UConn looks really good right now. Really good.
This will come out the weekend after.
The weekend after?
Of the championship.
Wow. Cool. We got a super cool guest on today, though.
We do.
Golf. She's professional. I don't know what you want to really call her. I don't think she's doing professional golf anymore. I think it's more just kind of like golf influencer type of videos and like just giving back to the community. Her name's Hailey Rae, but Arizona gal, I guess now Scottsdale. So I will be asking her about that. But from Bend, Oregon. I'm sure she like runs with like the Bob does sports guys and kind of just in that little circle there.
She's done some videos with them. She's not so much on YouTube as much as I would have remembered. I've only seen her. That's when I got like introduced to her, like was on YouTube.
On YouTube?
And now I don't see her as much, but that could just because I'm not strong into the golf YouTube.
I don't think I am either. I was watching the Nelk Boys with Bob Menery. You see it hit that shot?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. She's going to be dope to talk to. We've kind of just been on like a little, I don't know, streak here of golfers. Alex Romo, he was fun to talk to. Works with the same breath coach as Jake Paul. When I was doing that clip for Instagram, I didn't realize like how serious that stuff gets. Like people are bawling their eyes out and
it
screaming.
gets scary, bro.
Yeah,
I saw.
insane.
I was looking a little more into it after he said that. And I was like,
yeah,
I don't know if I could be a part of this.
You want to? We could try it once. Like we go out to LA and go do it one time.
No, I'm fine. I'm definitely good on it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know if I've ever gotten to that point. I got to cook the back. That's about it. And you remember I was posting up on IG story like in December. I was like, anybody else? Like, let's start this movement. Like cooked backs. Like let's post our stretches at night and just put it on IG story.
How long did that last?
That lasted like a day. You know?
About 3 days.
My back was so cooked. I think it's better now though, bro. Like I think it's better. It's fine now. But no, we've been on a streak. I don't know. I guess our guest list has been pretty good for the most part. I guess if this is coming out, Brent Pella, comedian, Jack Espy will come out first or after this?
Right before this.
Right before this?
Yeah.
Really? Cool. Shout out Jack. We'll get
It'll
back
be
with
the
him.
first weekend of April.
Dude, I was on. You know how I'm doing talent booking for Max Crosby's podcast for Playmaker.
Yeah.
Talked to Victoria, Jorge's girl. Yeah, manager.
How was that?
Jorge's manager, not girl. I think Jorge actually has like a girlfriend and like kids and stuff. But Victoria is awesome. She was like, yeah, Jorge's fighting Nate Diaz June 20th in boxing. So, and he's still under that UFC contract. But anyways, I was talking to Victoria because I was like, why not just get Jorge on Max Crosby's podcast? Going to try to get that locked in before UFC 300, right before, which I don't know if they're going to come out with it right before, but Jorge's training in Vegas for the next 8 weeks. And then he's going to go out to LA and fight Nate Diaz. But I guess he's going to hop on Crosby's podcast. That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what his mindset is going into actual like fighting.
Yeah, I answered the phone. I go, Miss Gonzalez, what's up? You know,
she was cool as fuck. So it's kind of cool that we kind of working our way into circles like that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've always talked about too. And I like she's like, when are you guys coming out to Las Vegas? You know, and she just like. That's just that Miami culture, bro. It's that Cuban culture of like they just want to be friends with everybody, and they're very friendly people.
Just looking for what's next. To do.
Like when are you guys coming out? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I gotta pay rent, you know.
We gotta make. We gotta.
So maybe we'll get. But I even said like, maybe we're gonna take the trip to LA again, and maybe we can get Jorge on again. And she's like, yeah, that'd be cool. And she's like, even if you guys want to come to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, like, yeah, let's make it happen. I'm like. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make that one.
On top of that, Taylor Holder is kind of in the headlines right now, and I do want to talk about it just a little bit. Nashville guy, we had him on the podcast. Him and Bryce Hall have been going at it back and forth on social media, TikTok videos. We're Team Holder for sure.
Well, this is a thing that I don't think a lot of people will take into consideration because my first thing was about it was. If you're Holder and you go and box, you don't think Bryce is going to say something about how you boxed?
Yes. I will say he didn't. He looked rusty, but he even admitted that. And he was on a 5-day notice fighting.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround for him. But if you didn't think this was what's coming, or at least get a reaction from
Bryce,
like what are we? Like that you had to know if you put yourself out there.
Can't take away anything from Bryce though, just winning that bare knuckle.
Yeah. But he was like, I saw one clip. He's like, what do you think you could do to Taylor? And he was like, oh, I could fucking dominate. He looks weak. Bare knuckle, I'd knock him out real quick. I was like, bro, we're not talking. He's not
talking about
building
bare knuckle. We're just talking about boxing.
Yeah.
Taylor's the man, bro. He had a cool story about it. Like his parents' family or his parents' house like burnt down, or someone in his family's house burnt down in Texas, and his brother's got a 2-year-old, and he was flying back to Texas to like help him out. I guess he got paid a bag to be on Misfits, which was ran by KSI, I believe, that event. Because I know how it's kind of in competition with Aiden Ross, who I'm kind of watching on stream, and Aiden's kind of trying to do the same thing. And he got, I guess, what is it? I don't know. He got subpoenaed or like sued because Aiden Ross was trying to do that same thing. Jesus Christ. Was trying to do that same thing that same night in Aiden Ross's like warehouse with boxing, but it just obviously didn't look as good, with the production and everything else. But
yeah.
No, I think it looked good. It was also in Nashville, which was interesting. Where do you think it was at?
I have no idea. I didn't even.
It was in Nashville.
I know. I don't even know if they would like leak that. I don't think they.
No, they did for sure.
Where was it?
I think it was at the Municipal.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought for some reason what I was seeing they were like trying to like normal people couldn't just go and watch it.
Really? Yeah, I bet that's true for sure. It's probably just too much. There's probably not enough security for people that want to just go crazy. And I mean, you're in a fighting like environment. I don't know. Bryce Hall is there. Taylor Holder's there.
Yeah.
Taylor
that could
good,
get
though,
sticky.
Man.
Could get sticky.
People say that he pushed, dude. I mean, he clearly hit him with a couple of 1-2s.
By the end of that fight, he looked like the better boxer.
Yeah.
Granted, that other guy never boxed really before, but like to be honest, like.
But again, on a 5-day notice, and like Taylor's like doing a bunch of music and stuff. I don't know, man. I'd love to see it. I think it's kind of cool how these like social media influencers are at least like trying something else.
Yeah. Well, they have to now. I think that's another thing that we've kind of seen.
They could go any other avenue, but like boxing's pretty cool.
It's like once you hit like, a certain age, 23, 24, you can't be doing the same stupid, dumb shit that you were as an influencer. Right.
Yeah, it's just a whole nother chapter. So shout out T-Hold. Maybe we can get him back on the pod, but I don't know what that play is like, T-Hold. I mean, could we get you back on the pod? Like, we want to still talk about your music and stuff, dude. But yeah, we're going to slip in some questions about Bryce Hall.
Or we just come with him. Hey, if you get that day, you're sliding through the studio.
Yes,
and that's what we'll just pump it up.
Yes. So we'll get Jorge Taylor on, but yeah, we're gonna hop in with Hailey Rae right here. It looks like she's in the Zoom, so let's get it going.
Yeah, I want to go really bad. I've only been to Nashville once, and I love it, and I have quite a few friends there. So
was it for a bachelorette party, or like why were you there?
No, although I would love that too.
Yeah.
No, I was doing the US Open Trophy Tour, and so that was one of the stops. So I was taking the trophy like across the US basically and showcasing it at certain places. So that was one of the stops. I was so excited because I had never had an excuse to go.
Yeah, well, you're like, why can't I take the trophy to Broadway one night, guys? What's going on?
I went to Broadway. The trophy stayed back. That thing is freaking heavy. They have so many rules for it too. It's like you have to wear the white gloves. You have to, you have to lock it back up between each thing that you're doing. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, it's not even the real trophy, and those are all the rules.
Where are you at right now? You're in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We were just talking about March Madness. I'm guessing you got Arizona, because that's who I got, dude.
Of course, I gotta represent.
Okay.
No, I've literally watched zero basketball.
Come on, you gotta get it. You gotta stay in tune. Sweet 16 at least. Arizona's, they're popping off right now.
Yeah, and we're hosting the Final Four here.
That's why I told Liam, I was like, they have the easiest road to win the entire thing, because the first 2 games were in Salt Lake City. The next 2 games are in LA, and then the final game is in Glendale.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have watched slightly because I did see the GCU game, which was pretty funny. But
yeah, it's been a fun time watching it. Well, Hailey, we kind of just go into it, dude. Thanks for hopping on the podcast, Hailey Rae. I guess she's getting married here in a couple weeks, and I guess I'll ask you, or I'll say thank you for hopping on the podcast to begin with. First question for me: how does a guy get married? I'm still just trying to get a text back, sister.
Well, I think most of your followers and listeners just signed off once they heard that sentence.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
Yeah.
Congratulations though, seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's an exciting time, but I will say don't rush into that because the marriage process, like the wedding process, this sucks. Like I hate it. And in the beginning, I tried to be that girl that's like, "Oh no, I'm just going through the process, staying in the moment." And now I'm like, I hate this. This is not for me. I'm not that kind of girl. I want to go do 1,000 other things than plan a wedding. So
where are you guys at in the planning process? Is everything kind of done with and you're just ready, or you still got little last minute things to do?
I feel like I still have so much to do. Like just off the screen right here is boxes and boxes of wedding stuff and just random acrylic things and just a bunch of shit that I don't want to deal with. So
love it. And then what was the first thing that he said to you?
About the wedding stuff?
Nope. Just when he met you. All time.
Oh, okay. Well, I always make the joke that when we met, he had 1,000 questions. So I have no idea the first thing he said, but he is such a talker that he asked me 1,000 questions and I sat there thinking, oh, this guy's so into me. But then we've been together for 5 years and he's done that exact same thing with every single person he ever meets because he's just wants to get to know people. So
nice. I love that. We were just talking about, I don't know, it's TMI, but we said it on the podcast. I was hanging out with the lady, bro, a couple of weeks ago, and we do this podcast for the past 4 years. I just feel like I'm always asking questions to the girls, and I feel like I asked this lady 20 questions in a row, 21 questions, and I think she just wanted me to shut up, and I was like, are you gonna ask me something or no? So I don't know. I guess I'm still just trying to figure it all out. What about you? We're just
over here trying to figure it out.
You asking questions too, or you kind of just
I think I'm the opposite. I think they got to ask me questions. I'm kind of quiet to begin with.
Yeah.
Unless like I know you. So it's like, I'll ask a couple, but I can't do like 20 in a row.
Yeah, but aren't you waiting for the questions back though, bro?
Yeah. If not, I'm gonna be like, all right.
Yeah.
Nice conversation.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I was pretty bad at that in the beginning with Louis because he just talked so much that I got used to it. And then he would be like, "You haven't asked about my day." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You were asking me so many questions. They just kept coming that I thought maybe you weren't done yet."
Hey, the only time the guys are receiving flowers is at the funeral, no? Or what's going on there? Come on now, sister. Come on now. No, I'm kidding. Well, dude, let's get into it. I think you just got a bunch of cool things that's going on in your life, and we've been keeping up with you for a minute now. And Hailey, we're all over the place. We're man-to-man pocket. We don't really know what the hell is going on half the time, but we know that you kind of started your career at 9 years old. You got a brother who you've been playing sports with. You're from Bend, Oregon. We like to just timeline it up and take it back. If you can kind of take us to the early days and kind of just tell us how you got into golf in the first place.
Yeah, so my dad got me into golf. He got me putting around the golf course as soon as I could walk. He basically just sawed off a putter, and then he'd go out and play 9 holes in the afternoon and drop a ball on the green so that I could do whatever I wanted. There were no rules. I didn't have to try and make the putt. I was literally like 2 years old. So he got me going that way. And then once I turned 9, he took over Central Oregon Junior Golf Association, COJA for short. And I started competing against kids my own age, and it just kind of came naturally. So it was something that, even though it wasn't necessarily my favorite sport, it was something that was kind of easy and I didn't have to work too hard, especially being in Bend. You take a full winter off. So I just kind of stuck with it. And I think my dad was definitely somebody who paved the way and kind of showed me these places I could go, but let me think it was my own idea. So he would present it to me like, "Oh, maybe you should, have you ever considered this?" And then I look into it, I'm like, "Oh, you're right. You know what? I should do that." And I think it's my idea, but really he said it in front of me on a silver platter and I ate it up.
What about you kind of mentioned it. What are the other sports that you were like looking into or like enjoyed doing besides golf growing up?
Well, I played everything growing up. Like you said, I have a younger brother and he was really into baseball. So from a pretty young age, we were traveling a lot for his baseball and I loved baseball. So I was like traveling with him and hanging out with his friends and just kind of, for lack of a better word, like a tomboy, and always playing with like the neighborhood kids, which were all boys. We had no girls in the neighborhood. So pretty much anything. I was playing basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, everything except for any snow sports. I didn't do snowboarding or skiing or anything. So yeah, it was kind of, I loved soccer the most. That was my first love. I think that's every kid's like first love.
Yep.
Basketball was obviously not going to be it for me at a very tall 5'3.5".
There you go. Add that half.
It matters. But yeah, so golf just kind of took over. It was the obvious choice.
So what do you go like at 9 and 10 years old? You're just playing golf every summer, and then are you just better than all the other kids because you just been playing it, or do you got that natural talent to you? Like, take us through that little weird phase of like 9 to maybe 15 or whatever. Yeah,
well, talk about weird phase. I was definitely a weird
we all went through
kid.
it. I'm still going through it, dude. Yeah.
We all are, yeah. So you start playing with kids your own age, usually of the same gender. So I was playing with girls my own age, but we only had a handful of girls at that time playing golf in Central Oregon. So it was kind of like the same group that we were just growing up together, and we just competed every Monday in the summer. And eventually, my dad really worked hard. He became the president of Koja, and he took Koja from 30 golfers to 300 by the time he was done. So he really convinced a lot of parents, get your kids into golf, start them out, whatever. And eventually I had more girls to compete against. But I would say, even though it was coming naturally to me, I was my dad took the right steps to work on my swing as a young kid and get me into some lessons when he could convince me to, and work on fundamentals of golf. Instead of I remember there was this one girl, she would drive me crazy because her swing was no good. Her ball would barely get off the ground, and it would just worm burn the whole way to the hole.
It'll play.
It'll play, yeah. And I used to tell my dad, how can she beat me? I hit better shots. How can she beat me? And he's like, one day it's going to catch up and she will no longer beat you. Just wait. And sure enough, that happened. And, I continued my career into college, and she went a different route, but I just remember it used to drive me crazy. So I'm very competitive. So everything I've ever done, it doesn't matter. Take the trash out, it's going to be a competition. So.
Nice. I love that. And then you get to high school. From our research, you played volleyball 2 years, but then your high school didn't have a golf team. And so you stopped playing after 2 years of volleyball. You're taking golf seriously, but how does that work? Are you playing independently by yourself, finding tournaments? How does all that work?
Yeah, so you can compete on a golf team. As a team, you need 4 scores to create a team score. You usually get 5 players, and then you take the top 4 scores. Or you compete individually, or. So every tournament, you are always also competing individually. So for high school, my freshman year, we had a team, and we were decent. And then after that, it was everybody quit. And there was one other girl, and it always drove me nuts because it would be tournament day, and I would be out front with my coach waiting on her. We're trying to call her, where are you? Where are you? She's like, oh yeah, I'm not coming. I remember one time she was
like this guy right over here.
It drives me nuts. I'm like, what do you mean we have a tournament today?
Yep.
But yeah, she would be like, oh, I got a really bad sunburn. That was literally one of the excuses one time. And that's just not.
Her through all that SPF,
That's just not me. So anyways, I ended up just competing as an individual at all of these tournaments. So I never had a team score. I was competing for Mountain View High School, but just as an individual. So I could still win the tournament, but my team couldn't win the tournament, if that makes sense. But the year after I graduated high school, they had all these girls come try out. So my dad was like, that's because you showed everybody you can do it and you went off to college. I'm like, or they just really didn't want to be on the golf team with me. It's one of those two things.
Too intimidating. Too intimidating. It sounds like from the age of 9.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
When in high school did you kind of recognize that you wanted to play golf and college or maybe at another higher level than that? Was there like a moment there where you were like, I'm doing this, or is it kind of just always been the plan?
Yeah, I would say once junior year, I was actually in tryouts getting ready for volleyball, and I wasn't very good at volleyball. I was all right, whatever. And I remember my dad said, "Do you even want to play?" Like, tryouts were so intense. We had daily triples when we were trying out. It was crazy for a high school volleyball team that I just wanted to have fun with. So I just remember he asked me, he goes, "Are you even having fun with this? Because you don't have to play volleyball." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, not really. Like, I just want to play, and this is crazy." And so we kind of talked about it, and he's like, "Why don't you not play this year and focus on golf? Because this is the year where you're going to start looking at colleges." And like I said, my dad definitely presents everything to me before I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I have this idea." So that was kind of when it became clear I'm doing this to get to college. My parents were not going to pay for my entire school. They always said that they'll try and help us, but if we can get a scholarship, like, we need to chase the scholarship. So that was kind of that turning point for me, but it wasn't until college when I truly fell in love with golf and decided on my own, I'm focusing all my time on this and getting better and pursuing more.
And what is your brother doing? Is he going to the same high school telling you same thing, go do golf?
So my brother's 3 years younger than me, and he kind of had a similar journey in a way. Like, he was so into baseball and was thinking about baseball for college until it was actually in front of him, and he's like, "I don't want to do this." So but no, he's an artist now. He's back in Bend he does charcoal on paper, and he's just an amazing artist. And he would love, I think, isn't that Andy Warhol back there? I think he would love that.
It is indeed, yes.
Yeah.
So literally one of the only artists I know.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but George Fox University won 4 collegiate events, D3 All-American. But before we get to all of that good stuff, was freshman year a little bit challenging to get a roster spot? Because I'm trying to read your story and understand how all that went down.
Yeah, so George Fox, even though it's a D3 school, it's super competitive. They go to nationals every year, really good team. So a lot of people don't even think of D3 as being like some of the top teams, but our team would play D1 all the time. We would go to D2 tournaments and win. Like, they're really good. So just to set the stage, so going into my freshman year, I was not good enough for that team, and I still to this day am just grateful that my coach saw it in me and gave me a spot, but I could not make the lineup my freshman year. My coach always said there are 3 things, and you can do 2 out of those 3 things well, but one of them will always suffer. You have sport, social, and school. Pick 2, and the third one will usually suffer. I picked social, and social my freshman year, and just kind of
And we all
did what a lot of
Yeah, we all
freshmen
did
do.
that. Hey, by the way, we got another D3 athlete over here, so you guys can relate a little bit.
Yes,
not
D3
as impressive as you, but
Yeah.
it was.
I
there.
chose to go University of Tennessee and join a frat immediately freshman year and just try to get athletics. I chose social as well.
Athletic in a different
GDI,
sense.
baby.
Yeah.
GDI. We always called it GDI at our school. Goddamn independent.
Yep.
That's
Same
our
here.
frat.
Same here. I was like, I don't want to be one of those, I guess, dude. If what's gonna happen to me? Oh, sorry to interrupt though. Continue though.
Yeah, so I just did the freshman thing, partied a little too much, even at a Christian university. My coach is probably gonna listen to these and be like, "What?" But anyways, so I was always the number 6 player, which would never compete on the team. So I was back to my high school days, competing as an individual, not making the lineup, and watching my team compete, and just feeling like I was able to put some scores out there where I knew I would be the right choice for the lineup, but I couldn't get it together. I couldn't, qualify for those spots. So I got to travel with the team and get that experience. but I just hated sitting on the sidelines that first year at nationals. I didn't get to compete, and watching my team and watching some of the girls struggle and thinking this is my fault because I put myself in this spot. I know I could be out there putting my score into this lineup and helping us win nationals. And so that summer I just went home. I worked at a golf course and just played, practiced every day after work. And once school started back up, every day I was at practice early, staying late. I was the last one to leave every day. And I ended up competing, qualifying for the number 1 spot on the team for that first tournament my sophomore year. So I just really switched things around. And that's when sport always came first, and then social. School took a backseat all the time.
Yeah, I love it.
Is that that would you say that's the time, or that year gap, I guess you would call it, is when you actually really fell in love with the sport? Or is it was that afterwards?
No, it was definitely that transition where I needed the team aspect, and being able to compete for a team and for more people than just myself. It was a big deal to me. So I took it super seriously, and I got most improved, I think, every year of college from one season to the next. So that to me was really just cool, I guess, in my eyes. I worked so hard. So seeing the improvement over time and getting most improved just really showed that I could do it. And I was willing to work harder than anyone else.
Yeah, I got most improved my senior year of high school at Lipscomb. It's a college too, but most improved in basketball. I don't know how I felt. I was in high school. I was like, all right, screw you guys, dude. You know?
Yeah.
I've been this good. So, okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like you play a tournament. There's 5 girls that are on a team, or at least I get a scholarship. And then there are these qualifiers before that next season starts. And then again, my research, I don't know how well I'm doing here, but you take the best girls roster spot. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So
okay,
you
see you later, alligator.
Yeah. You qualify for each tournament. So basically we would do it where your scores for tournament days, those count a lot for qualifying, but then you also compete against your own team the week of tournament and do like a 9-hole match or 3 9-hole matches, whatever. And then those scores add in too. And then our coach, like, it's under her discretion after that.
Gotcha.
So after I qualified for first, that was my worst tournament ever. Granted, I did end up getting sick, and so that played a part, but I ended up being the best in like the second or third position, because there are other girls on the team where they were going to be in the lineup, but mentally, like, they have to be number 1, because otherwise, like, their confidence is shot. Where for me, I like kind of chasing it. So I see a goal, like, I want to be what do they say? Like the rabbit and the turtle or whatever, and the turtle has the gun. I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Rabbit in the hair.
That's it. Well, that's interesting to hear too, because it sounds like there's a ton of competition. Like, shoot,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that 6 girl is hitting you with that unfollow on that little bitty IG. You know, who knows? It sounds like there's a lot of competition going on. Can you take us through a time during one of those collegiate events that you won that was just like, yeah, I am that dog?
And what was the first year that you won, actually?
Yeah.
When was the first tournament you won?
My senior year.
Okay.
Senior
Nice.
year was when I won all of my tournaments.
Yep.
So I continued to improve, obviously, over the years. And then senior year, it was like I had this different mindset. And it was just crazy, because I knew, like, I worked really hard on my mental game. Once I got into college, I learned what that was all about. I read so much Bob Rotella, which is a big sports psychologist in the golf world. And I'm like, I would probably just geek out if I ever got to meet him. And he's like this older guy that just writes psychology books. But so I think I just had this different mindset where I would walk into the tournament with the attitude that if I play the way I know how to play, everyone here is competing for second. It was so much inner arrogance. It was like I was hyping myself up all the time in my head. I wasn't trying to be like this cocky player, but I had to have that attitude for me to feel like I'm the top dog here and you guys are competing for second. So good luck. have fun. Like,
Yeah.
I
well,
think
I got a question too. Is your social media following like popping off after you're winning these tournaments? You already kind of got that
no.
steady pace in college. No. Okay.
No. We had to have my coach made us turn our profiles private, which
Yep.
I wasn't doing social
That's how you
media
get
really.
more followers.
I guess so, but no, it was back then. That was like when Golf Babes, there was a page called Golf Babes that had just started, and I wasn't really like super into the social media, but I would post golf stuff here and there, and they would repost some of my stuff. And my coach like thought it was the worst thing ever, and she's like, "Why did you let them do this?" And I'm like, "They can do whatever they want. I can't stop them from reposting something." So it was a big conversation with our team, and it's so funny now because I'm like, MJ, look at now you're like on social media, you're making the girls like promote the team and all these things, and it's just so different than it was back in my day.
A pioneer to the social media.
There you go.
So once you're done with college, what was your kind of mindset in terms of what you were going to do next in terms of being surrounded in the golf world? Because I'm sure you wanted to stay in it, right?
Yeah, my senior year, I think that was what helped me because a lot of people, their senior year, it becomes too emotional, too much. They're like, oh my gosh, this is my last tournament here. This is my last tournament here. And my last conference championship. And it becomes too important. And for me, I already knew I wanted to continue to play and pursue professional golf. My dad had showed me all the scores of the mini tours, and he's like, you're already shooting this. So I had a new goal in mind. I still wanted to go win nationals, but I knew this wasn't it for me. So that transition was somewhat easy because I was so excited about it. I was excited to go off on my own, move away, go live somewhere warm and live the dream. And my parents always said, "You're young, just go have fun. Like you don't need to go get a career. Go make enough money to play golf and enjoy this while it lasts." And I always had the mindset that a door will open along the way and I'm going to meet the right people and just kind of like life will just happen. Right.
So the move to Scottsdale was in that summer after graduation.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
why Scottsdale?
Because why not Scottsdale, bro?
I mean, I know the golf scene there is crazy. Is that the only reason why?
Yeah, there's only two tours, that mini tours that women can play on and like live in one area. One's in Florida and one is here. So Florida is way far from Oregon. It's so humid. I've never loved Florida, but I love Arizona. So I hadn't actually like even been to Scottsdale because we had one tournament here each year in Peoria, which if you know Peoria, it is a retirement place. So we would go play there, but I thought it was so pretty. I'm like, Scottsdale must be pretty, which it is, but I hadn't even been there before.
Right. So like what is your first move with making money there? Is it kind of just working on a golf course and just making enough money do you have to pay to get in sort of these like tournaments and qualifiers and things like that?
Yeah. So I actually started out getting a job at Continental Golf Course, which was right down the road from where I was living. And I just picked it because it was close. I moved here in October that year. So I stayed home and worked all summer and then I moved. And I didn't realize that Arizona does overseed. So each October, pretty much just in October, every course shuts down to do overseed. And I happened to move here during that. So I didn't know. All these courses are closed. I couldn't find a job. And I just picked this course to work beverage cart. They didn't even have a beverage cart. They hired me for the beverage cart position and then told me, oh yeah, we don't have one. So you're actually just going to work in the restaurant, which was not cool for me.
Yeah.
And, but I hit up Cart Barn Guys, Kyle Mays. He works at Papago. I just DM'd him and was like, hey, I'm going to come out there and practice. Like, I would like to meet you, whatever. And he was super cool. He kind of like took me under his wing in the beginning and gave me range balls all the time and would go out and play with me. And so every single day that I was out there, I would just go into Papago and go see Daryl, who is the GM there, and just ask him for a job. I'm like, Daryl, let me know when you're hiring. I want to work here. And he hired me like 3 months in, and I just worked beverage cart there, and I loved it. And I loved Daryl and the staff and practicing there. It was the perfect place for me.
And is that when you enter, I guess, this cactus tour, or are we skipping steps here?
No, I started competing on cactus tour pretty early as an amateur. So if you stay amateur, your entry fees are like cut in half. You can't take the money that you win, but at that point I wasn't winning any money anyways. So I remained amateur, played in these tournaments for like, $300 or whatever. And to me, it was saving money, getting my feet wet, kind of getting the professional golf understanding, because you're playing with professionals, and then eventually transition into professional.
And then what about kind of your online like media space? I know you have a pretty unique like YouTube page as well. You kind of have a bunch of content, different kind of content. Is that kind of alongside of this growth of into pushing for professional, or is that just something you do kind of just, I don't know, on the side while you're also trying to compete professionally?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine. His brother is Jacoby Ellsbury, the baseball player, and he told me that I should start posting golf stuff and it will help me find sponsors. And we made a little bet because I thought he was just so full of it. I'm like, who is going to care about my golf swing? I'm going to lose all my followers. Like, my friends are going to hate it. And we made a bet, and basically we had a week-long bet, and he won the bet in one day. It was, you'll gain 1,000 followers by the end of the week, and within a day, I gained the 1,000 followers, and I was like, okay,
yeah, what did those first couple of videos look like? Like, what were you doing? Just hitting driving range balls?
It was just a video on the range, because I would film myself every day anyways. I would set up my camera so that I could watch my swing and analyze my swing. And so all I was doing was posting my practice, and there was no creativity, there was no editing, there was nothing, but people they want to feel like they're a part of the journey, I think. And they like seeing the behind the scenes stuff. They like seeing how people practice. They like tearing each other's swings apart. So for me, it was so easy because I was going to the range and going to practice and play every single day either way, that taking a video that I was already going to make no matter what and posting it, not a big deal. But I wouldn't say I really focused on social media until like COVID.
Okay.
Honestly.
So what year are we talking here with posting that first video then? 19, 18?
Probably, yeah. Like the first like true golf videos probably started in 2017.
Okay. So then you don't parlay the online media presence, and that's not where all these big Nike, sponsorships come in and things like that. And then you're kind of like, oh wait, I can do social media on the side. It doesn't really, these tournaments are cool and all, but I can do social media and make a living this way.
Yeah, it was more so like the Nike and stuff. It did come because of my social media, but my media was so small. But you have to think, at that time, we didn't have tons of female golf influencers doing this. So there was only a handful of us. And so I ended up getting Nike pretty early. And that was obviously especially being from Oregon, one of my dream sponsors. So I got that pretty quickly, and I didn't even have a large following yet. But that was still focusing all of my time. I would say I am a professional golfer, and this is my side hustle. This helps me make some money. I was working 3 jobs. If you include the social media, I was working 3 jobs to afford professional golf. And it wasn't until later where I realized this is where I'm going to make a living. I'm going to be able to stay in the golf world and do all the things I want to do without having the pressure of professional golf or just the grind of it all, because I like the pressure, but the grind of just every day working your butt off, traveling, it started to lose its appeal over time when I could see what I was able to do with social media.
And then more of kind of your YouTube presence as well.
You're big on the YouTube, aren't you?
Well, that's where I mean, if I'm gonna watch golf content, it's gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah, same.
I'm not huge into the golf, like, I guess, space, but like what are like some of your, I don't know, favorite collabs that you've done? I've seen you on a couple, but I know it's not kind of your bread and butter per se, but like
yeah, just famous
that's
collabs.
when
I don't know, because you see all these like golf influencers now, like Bob does sports, you know, in that world. Kind of Barstool's got their own thing. Like, any cool collabs maybe coming up while doing social media and building your YouTube page?
Yeah, well, I love Bobby. I want to do something with Bobby because we've worked together on the T-Box Classic that a bunch of us did. And we filmed something, but I don't know, along the way, somebody shot it down and that content didn't get released. But
I know exactly who you're talking about. I'll just say
let's just say I would have looked really cool in that video because I did really well, but whatever. No, he's
not
awesome.
Another blonde female, is it?
No, not Claire. No, Claire, honestly, I will say I've liked working with Claire a lot. I really think she's super sweet. And, you know, the golf influencer space, it's interesting just because it's different with whoever's page you're on. So there are a lot of people in the industry, unfortunately, who will redo shots all the time. And if you go to their page and they hit a bad shot, they're like, I'm going to redo this. Well, it changes the outcome.
On, dude. Yeah,
I'm like, not for that. So I understand if it's the first hole you walk up to tap something in and it misses, like, yeah, you would have made that. We were just trying to be quick, whatever. But no, like, we don't redo shots on my page.
And you're playing on red too with these guys, right? Or what is it? Red, white, blue, or how does it go? Blue, white, red?
It depends on the course. But
I play the white tees. So most of the women I play with, we play from like 6,200. That's a professional yardage. And then the guys play from the tips most of the time. It depends on who you're playing with, I guess. But yeah, I mean, collabs I love, but I do really dislike the redoing shots kind of thing. But you're kind of at the mercy of whoever's page you're filming for if people want to redo them. But there's some prima donnas in this space, just like there are anywhere. But I think you'd be surprised. The girls are not the drama queens. It's the boys. The boys are some drama queens.
We don't want to look bad, you know. We don't look bad, you know, because our golf swing is terrible, man. You guys got us beat in golf for sure. Now I'm just trying to figure out that little 3-year span, I guess, of 17 to COVID. COVID maybe helps you out, like it kind of helped some other people out, at least on social media. We got the Wiggle Dickers on TikTok that are huge now, millions and millions of followers. But like, yeah, I mean, how did COVID affect you? Did it kind of raise your game online, or, you know, what happened there with you?
My theory when COVID started was there was nothing on TV to watch. All sports games, all golf tournaments, everything had been stopped, right? So I knew that people aren't going to be watching TV. So they're going to turn to social media. People were obsessed with TikTok at the time. Everyone's making freaking banana bread and posting their workouts and whatever else. And I was doing the same thing, that I just figured I need to get creative and find a way to draw people into my page. So I started doing random trick shots. I don't even know if they can count as trick shots. It would be like chipping into a cup kind of thing. Well, it took me an hour to do that. So I don't think it's really a trick shot, but just I was taking trendy TikToks and turning them into a golf idea. So anytime, one of my big ones was when they were doing the choose your character and people were like changing outfits and acting like the whatever. I did that, but golfer version. So like there was the caddy and it will forever be burned in my brain, and I think Louie's brain too, because he stood there and filmed it and you just hear the song over and over, and I'd have to like jump and then like whatever. Yep. It was so embarrassing. We did it outside. People were like driving by, whatever. But that was kind of where everything transitioned. And that's where sponsors at that time, they needed their products to get out because people weren't watching TV. So they weren't going to get their names out there using TV like they normally do. They had to transition into social media. So COVID for me was great. Not to be not sensitive for some people who didn't have a good COVID experience. I had a great COVID experience. I loved it. I loved being home.
I was going to say that I feel like that's like a lot of like, we've talked to a lot of people where COVID was kind of like the middle ground of like, either I'm going to make or break my, career or whatever it is, or my platform. And it sounds like you're on the other side. What about after COVID ends? Were you still like thinking to yourself, like, I have to do this now? Or is it more of like getting back to like maybe thinking about professional, or is that all the way out the window at that point?
Honestly, looking back now at that time, I know that professional golf was out the window. I hadn't been practicing. I loved not, because when I was competing, I was practicing every day for 6 to 8 hours a day. I was grinding in the summertime here in Arizona in 120-degree heat. I was grinding. So to the point where my coach, I remember he used to ask me, when was the last time you took a day off? And I wouldn't want to tell him. And he's like, well, now you have to take 2 days off. And that would be the end of the world for me, because in my head, I'm going to outwork everybody. So once COVID came, it was like I had a reason to not go practice. I had nothing on my calendar. I didn't know when my next tournament would be. It was finally an excuse to be like, okay, you can chill. And I enjoyed that time. And then I think once my social media was just doing better and better and better, it was the obvious choice. I did play in a tournament. I think I played in 2 tournaments when I came back after COVID. And one of them, I shot my lowest round ever. I just came out of COVID and went out and had my lowest round. And then the other one was like my highest round. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm good.
Yeah. Was that the same day that you hit the hole in one? Like your first day playing in that tournament, or first day turning professional?
No, the day I hit the hole in one was the day I turned professional. That was in 2018. So yeah, I actually, and a lot of people don't realize that story because people try and throw insults, right, on social media, and they always say, you're not a real pro. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. But I wasn't the person who chose to turn pro. I was forced to turn pro because the USGA called me that day of that tournament that morning, and they said, hey, someone turned you in and says you're accepting money from sponsorships. True, I was accepting money from Nike. Not a lot of money, but whatever. And he said, okay, well, if you want to continue to accept money, you have to turn pro, because if you're an amateur, you can't accept any sponsorship money. I think that would be different today because of like all the NCAA rules now and everything. Yep, NIL, but yeah, but I'm not really sure about that. But so that day, about to go out and play in this tournament for this fundraiser, I was so just upset and nervous, and I called my dad, because now every single entry fee was going to be double the price at least. And at the time, I didn't have the money to do that. I wasn't making the money to do it. And I called my dad so stressed out, like, I don't know what to do. Should I just drop all my sponsors? And he's like, no, just turn pro. Who cares? So I turned pro that day. I signed up for my next tournament as a pro. I call the Cactus Tour guy. I'm like, hey, I'm going to turn pro today. Sign me up for the next one as a pro, whatever. And then I had the hole in one on TPC Stadium, hole 16, the day after the waste management. And it was kind of the epiphany of like, I'm in the right place.
Right. Then what? I mean, then what happened? You know, well, we're supposed to be seeing you on TV at these LPGA tournaments now, right? If you're doing that.
I mean, you would hope so, right? But there's different levels of professional golf, just like professional baseball. So I was on the mini tour level, and then I went to qualifying school, Q school, and got Symetra Tour status, but I never even attended one of their tournaments because it didn't ever make sense for me. And then the next step would have been the LPGA.
You're like, are you guys seeing these TikTok views right now, dude? I'm choosing my own character. It's popping off.
Yeah.
What about now that we're kind of removed from COVID? What's like kind of been your game plan in terms of, I guess, your content plan / social media grind? What do you have, like a routine or something now?
I do have a routine. I do have a lot more freedom with my days, although I feel like my days are still crazy. But you have moments where you're getting hired for so many things, and in 1 month I'm home like 3 days total, and they're not even consecutive. So, and then you have other months where I'm home for like 3 weeks and I'm like, oh shit, I need to get something done. Like I feel lazy. So I would say now I have like my schedule of how I get things done with I hired a filmer because it's just way easier. He edits all my stuff for me. And I work with him on that. And then I still post all of my stuff. He helps me with YouTube because he's making the long form. It wouldn't really make sense for him to like send me the long form and then I have to upload it. And it's just like, they're like 20-minute videos. But I want to do more TV stuff. I was on 2 Golf Channel TV shows, and I just really, really love doing the TV thing. I love being in front of the camera, obviously. I mean, I want to get more into that and kind of pursue that a little bit, I think.
Are you like, do you have a manager on your team? Are you signed to an agency, or you just got this guy that's kind of helping out with video editing and you're kind of checking your own emails and it's all stressful there? You got a team that's kind of helping you out with that?
I don't have a team. I have an agent. So he does go look for sponsorships and stuff, or he'll ask me like, is there somebody you want to partner with? And so I'll kind of send him on a hunt to sign some of these, but for the most part, I mean, I do all of my own stuff. So I still get 1,000 emails a day, like random Asian companies that none of their words make sense. And they're like, we want you to promote this. And it's like a One Piece something. And you're like, no. But for the most part now, it's really nice because I can just forward stuff to my agent if it looks like something I'm interested in. And we get to be a little bit more picky these days too. So I definitely don't do like the one-off, just doing it for the paycheck type of thing. I hand pick my partnerships, and we're lucky that we get to do that because a lot of people don't. And I was back in those days not able to do that back then and had to kind of accept every paycheck that came in. Right. But yeah, it's just changed a lot. It's really fun, but the golf world is ever changing, and right now it seems like companies are pulling back on sponsorships, and everyone's kind of trying to figure out what to do now.
Why do you think that is?
I think everyone went really hard during COVID, and post-COVID as well. I think everybody was still doing super well. They were expanding and probably expanding too quickly because the times were so different. Where now it's kind of leveled out, and although golf is still growing, it's not growing at the same pace as during COVID when everyone's at home and the only thing you can actually go do is play golf. So I think companies are just getting a little bit ahead of themselves, and so now they're backtracking and they just don't have the budgets, and it's just a different world. You can't compare your good years to COVID. COVID was just a different time for golf.
Now I'm trying to figure out how you got your love for Ricky Fowler.
It's so funny too because Louis is actually friends with Ricky. It's really embarrassing now.
You didn't see that one coming.
I did not see that one coming. Yeah, no. I didn't see that one coming. Go ahead, explain that for us. Because I actually love Ricky Fowler too.
I do too, bro.
Because I love
the
color orange.
Watch the leg.
I love the color orange, and his best fit is the all orange with the orange hat. So
how you and Ricky link up?
we've never linked up. Ricky
That's
does
good,
probably not know that I exist unless he knows that through Louis. Yeah, it's I just was, I always thought Ricky was cool just because he was different, and I loved that he was growing the game just by wearing something that's not even that crazy. But in golf, it's crazy because golf is so vanilla. So he's out there wearing a flat bill, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to wear a flat bill because no girl, first of all, is wearing flat bills. Most guys aren't on the golf course, and I just kind of ran with his image of like stepping outside the lame box of golf and just trying to add a little more style. But yeah, no, I've never met Ricky, but yeah, once I started dating Louis, he was like, oh yeah, I know Ricky. I'm like, that's pretty awkward because I've definitely posted about him in jokes and stuff before, but
well, talk about making a bag. That guy is top 3 all time. Brendan, yeah, I'm pocket.
We gotta meet him one day just to look back.
Yeah,
and
does he
cherish
not
the
live in like
memories.
Arizona? Does he not live in Scottsdale?
no,
I think he's out in LA, isn't he?
I'm not sure where he's at.
What about like outside of golf? Like, what do you like to do? Obviously, you're in Scottsdale. I don't know. I mean, you're about to get married again, but before, a couple years back, are you going to Waste Management? You hanging out, like going to LA, doing collabs? Like, what's your life look like outside of this?
Yeah, I mean, all of the above of what you just said. I bought a house not that long ago, and I've been remodeling the house. So that takes up a lot of my time. I have been working on this house for so long. You might not know it, but these walls used to be pink, and I mean pink.
Nice.
And I had green carpet, and yeah, it was a sight
You
to
got
see.
a couple
But
demons in there too from the previous homeowner, or what's going on?
I might. You never know. I'm still knocking down walls trying to see if she hid money anywhere, but I've yet to find that. So yeah, I do that. I love going shooting. I'm like super into shooting and fishing and just anything outdoors pretty much. I actually, right before I talked to you guys, I went and got weights so that I can start doing my workouts outside because I redid my whole backyard. And I just anything outside. That's why I love Arizona because it's always nice. You can be outside all the time. I think the sun is just so good for you. And yeah, and snowboarding. So when I'm in Utah or traveling with Louis, I love going snowboarding.
So now you're doing snowboarding. Now you're doing some of the winter
Now
stuff.
I am. I mean, I had to. Like, what was I gonna do? Just stand in the lodge and drink? I mean, that's fun too.
We talk about it all the time with our guests. I've never gone snowboarding or skiing. I'm the guy rocking the beanie with all the cheddar that Sean White can do tricks on the back of my head with. So I gotta go check it out. Hey, we got a few questions from our own team here. Let's see. Yeah, this is a good one. What's the most unusual or unexpected item you carry in your golf bag?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. Unusual. Well,
Shout out Noel.
Shout out Noel.
That's our team that wrote that one.
Yeah.
Oh, for a long time. Well, I don't even know if I can say this. I guess this is definitely unusual, but I have my with me all the time.
Nice, dude.
That's always in there.
I had the pocket knife.
Yep.
Out of nowhere, bro.
You gotta stay ready for it.
Stay ready. I was just talking about this earlier. I'm like, I stay ready. I dare you guys.
Especially if you're coming in second, dude.
Stalkers. Yeah, so I would probably say that.
Can you tell us just how you landed the Nike deal?
Yeah, I was actually at the PGA show that year, and I was out at dinner, and I was just having the time of my life. I was so new to this world, and this guy came up to us at dinner, and he goes, "Are you Hailey Ostrom?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, my name is so-and-so. I work for Nike, and I've been following you for a while now." And I this is just blowing my mind, right? Because I was so new to it. And he basically said, let's chat. So we end up on a phone call, and he says he is trying to create some type of kind of influencer team, although at the time it was just me. And he wanted input from influencers, and he wanted to see how I could help like grow Nike and get the word out there because it was so new. So I first got on there, just basically I was just getting like a lot of budget to buy stuff, and I had to wear 100% Nike across the board anytime that I obviously could. And I loved it because Oregon girl, I wore Nike all the time anyways. And then from there, it just turned into like a full blown partnership. They started paying me. And as far as I know, to this day, I was the only influencer that got paid in that category. So it was a cool thing. I got to meet with the designers at Nike, and they showed me the upcoming line for the women's golf. And they were like, we want you to tear it apart. Like, let us know everything. I ripped it to pieces. I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? This skirt is so long. What girl is ever going to want to wear a skirt past their knees? Like, I just tore it apart. And then I also got to go meet with the shoe designer, and I'm sitting in this room and there are shoes everywhere on the walls, and it's the full next season, but all those shoes were the men's. So they walk in with the women's and they set it in front of me and they're like, hey, let us know. And they were all like pink, baby blue, and gold, and like so girly. And I said, this is cool and all, but why can't we have that? Why can't a girl wear this and this and this? So since then, they actually changed their thinking with it, and they kind of adapted to some of I could tell that they took what I said. They were shocked with the shoe thing. They're like, we have a saying in our industry, it's called pink it and shrink it. That's what we do for the ladies. I'm like, no, throw that out the door. We don't want that. Like, sure, you want one pink shoe in your life, maybe, but like, I want the Jordans. I want like what the guys are wearing. Those look way doper.
Yeah. And then they fired their creative director the next day.
No, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah. But that was a really fun partnership.
That's cool. Are you still working with them? I mean, you we're seeing Michelob Ultra on the sheet here. Are you still working with any of these guys, or?
I'm not working with Nike anymore. They basically said like we lost budget, whatever. This was during COVID. And it just didn't really make sense anymore to still have all these requirements if I wasn't going to make much money. And at that point I was, starting to excel. So it was an easy like, hey, this was great when we just parted ways. Michelob Ultra, actually, I think that deal might just be up like this week. But currently still have it. And then Bet Online is my other main one. And
are you touching, dude? Are you touching a couple slips here and there?
Of course. Of course.
All right, there we go. That's lit. There we go.
Stay active.
Yeah.
Last couple here, Hailey. We're seeing here that you 2018 worked over 30 events and raised over $100,000 for charity. I mean, where did that come from? Like, why were you that person at that point in time? And are you that type of person where you just love giving back?
Yeah, I will say, so I was working for a company where I was getting paid to be there. I was getting, however much to be there and provide my golf services and hit shots for people. Obviously, it pays out, though, for the charities to do that. But I love doing that kind of stuff because even if I am walking away getting paid for my time, I feel like it just feels so good to be out there and know that other people, not many people, can go out and raise that much money and help give back to a charity in that way. And of course, I've done events too where I don't collect a check and I donate personally or whatever it may be. But that was also back when I was competing, and that was one of my other jobs that I did in order to fund my professional golf career. So I still do stuff like that. I actually just got hit up about one yesterday, and people hit me up just to go out and help raise money for their charities. And it's really fun, and it's cool meeting the people out on the golf course. And at this point now, I do end up seeing, some followers or people who might have seen me on the Golf Channel, and they're just, it's cool to meet those kind of people.
Any weird fan interactions or no?
Oh, of course. I actually,
Any of them you could share?
Tell us, yeah.
Maybe one that you can.
Yeah.
You like that? Brought that one
Um,
up too, then.
I do have a restraining order on one guy, and like I'm telling you,
That's fair.
I stay ready for a reason. But I shared this story recently on my social media, and he for years was harassing me all the time, and he would hit me up, and when I never once responded to him, not a single time. But once he realized I wouldn't respond, he started hitting up anyone that I ever tagged. So if I was at an event and I tagged someone I don't even know, he would hit them up and be like, I need to talk to Hailey, like get me to Hailey. Or he would tag those people in his stuff. And the stuff he was posting would be my photo next to his photo. And he would circle features like my eyes, his nose, my mouth of why we would make the most perfect children. And he would also post his own photo next to like popular attractive celebrities like Brad Pitt and say, this is why I'm more attractive than Brad Pitt. Or Prince Charming, the cartoon character. That one really sent me for a loop.
God.
And so this just became and then he was making threats, and it just was so much at that point where he was making threats to me, to Louis, and then we found out he actually lives in the town over from Louis's house. So that was a whole other category. So at this point, I have a restraining order on that one because he just wouldn't stop. He actually had to go to court twice because he would, after the restraining order, he would still tag me in his stuff and try to get to me. And stay ready, y'all. That's all I have to say.
It's a little dicey to say the least.
Yeah.
Last question here. We're hanging out with Hailey Ostrom. And we kind of go man to woman whenever we're talking to a woman on a pod, so that you can take this as like when we ask.
You say man to man. You can say man to man.
Well, man to woman, because you'll get where I'm going here. You can answer this as in like goal oriented, or you can let us know how a couple of single dudes, man to woman, what is the key to success in that realm?
The key to success,
or both?
Is it the key to success with women?
I mean, just give us some game, dude.
You're just trying to bust me. Okay. I would say confidence is a big thing with guys. I feel like the guys that are like, oh, I could never get that girl or whatever. It's just like the instant turn off. So like have confidence in yourself, know your worth, like know what you're bringing to the table, and not in a cocky way. Obviously girls don't like cocky guys either, but like the guys that I have a friend of mine, he is always just he's so down on himself. And I'm like, girls don't find that attractive. Like, be confident in who you are. And then what worked for Louis was just really taking an interest in me. Obviously, I don't mind talking about myself. So I think that definitely helped him. But yeah, I would say those two things, like take interest in the girl and definitely have confidence in yourself and
quick question
know
on
what you're
that.
bringing.
What about like interactions at the gym? Because I'm trying to make eye contact. I don't know if she wants me to approach. I'm trying to look strong in my medium shirts. What do I do?
Medium. No, sorry. I would say a major no in the gym. That is exactly why I bought my stuff, so I don't have to work out in the gym most days. I don't want to be hit up in the gym. Not even like a fist
pump, like, hey, I see you over there, sister, do your thing, you know? Or, okay, just stay away from all that.
I would laugh at that. I would probably laugh at that if somebody came up to me. Yeah, I mean, if you're funny, like, that helps, I guess. But
yeah, no,
I don't know. For the most part, I say no to the gym, but you might be able to do the fist pump.
That's always been an ongoing. And then man to woman, just what is the key to success in life? Like what advice would you give to maybe aspiring golfers at a younger age, or just to be successful in life?
I would say one thing that really has always stuck with me is that you get okay, how am I going to say this? If you have a positive attitude and you put out positive energy, you're going to receive that back. The same way if you have a negative energy all the time and negative attitude, you're going to receive that back just from the universe, from God, from whatever it is you believe in. So you get to choose how you act. You can't control everything, but you can control how you react to things. So just a simple thing like driving to work, it's really bad traffic. Who cares? Have a positive attitude because it's going to impact your entire day, your entire life, and those little moments add up. And I really do believe if you have a positive attitude, a positive outlook, and just are a better person overall, good things are going to come your way.
Yeah, love it. Stay away from driving over bridges. Hailey Ostrom, what can we expect next from you, and where can we find you at?
Well, you can find me all over my social media channels at Hailey Ostrom, and hopefully in the future, see me on some upcoming collabs and maybe some TV stuff.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you here in a second, but thanks for hopping on the pod, Hailey Ostrom. Let's go.
Thank you.